You're sitting across from someone explaining themselves. The words land correctly. The timeline makes sense. Nothing is technically wrong. But something in your chest has already made a decision your brain hasn't caught up to yet. You feel it, then you talk yourself out of it. You call it anxiety. You call it trust issues. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what your body was reading, and you'll never dismiss that signal again. You're on the phone. They're explaining where they were. The words are fine, but something in the rhythm is off. Not the speed, not the pitch. Something smaller. Something your conscious brain can't name. Here's what it is. Your auditory system processes speech rhythm constant. It builds a baseline in the first 30 seconds of any conversation. When someone recalls a real memory, the pauses fall in predictable places between thoughts, at transitions. When someone constructs a story, the pauses fall inside phrases. Mid-sentence, between words that should flow. Linguist Wallace Chaffee at UC Santa Barbara spent decades mapping spontaneous. He found that fabricated narratives produce irregular micropause clustering brief hesitations inside phrases where natural speech never pauses. Your brain hasn't processed the meaning yet, but your auditory cortex already flagged the rhythm as wrong. You felt this. Someone is mid-sentence and something makes you slightly hold your breath. You can't explain it. You weren't listening for anything specific, but something made you stop. That wasn't intuition. That was pattern recognition firing below your conscious threshold. And the worst part? You've been trained to ignore it, to wait for proof, to need words before you trust what your own nervous system already detected. But here's where it gets darker, because the next signal doesn't just tell you they're lying, it tells you exactly how hard they're working to make you believe them. You're at dinner. You asked a simple question. Now they're 3 minutes into an answer that needed 30 seconds. Watch what happens to their body. The sentences get longer. The hands start moving more. And this is the part that tricks almost everyone. The eye contact gets better. Stronger, more deliberate, like they're trying to make you feel how honest they are. Most people read increased eye contact as confidence, as sincerity. They're wrong. Dr. Timothy Levine at the University of Alabama at Birmingham has studied thousands of deception interactions. He found that liars show a counterintuitive increase in eye contact, not a decrease, because maintaining your gaze becomes a conscious strategy. Real memory retrieval pulls attention inward. Constructed narrative pushes attention outward. When all three happen simultaneously, longer sentences, increasing gestures, sustained direct eye contact, you're not watching someone remember. You're watching someone perform remembering. You've seen this. Someone answers a question you didn't ask in detail, with a look that feels like they're daring you to disbelieve. You felt slightly overwhelmed, like there was too much information to hold, like you'd seem crazy to push back. That feeling of overwhelm? That's the mechanism working exactly as designed. And this next part most people never realize is even happening, because the third signal doesn't live in what they say or how they move. It lives in their body itself, and your body reads it before you've formed a single conscious thought. They tell you they're fine. They say it calmly. Their voice is level. Their expression is neutral. But something in you is already reading something else. Not what they said. What their body is doing underneath what they said. Here's what you're picking up. When someone is actually calm, their breathing is slow and low diaphragm. When someone is suppressing a stress response, the breath becomes shallower, chest-based, faster, imperceptible to a casual glance. But not to yours. Psychophysiologist Paul Ekman at UC San Francisco documented what he called leakage involuntary physiological signals that contradict a person's stated emotional state. Respiration shifts, micro changes in skin tone, subtle postural tension in the neck and jaw. You don't read these consciously. You read them somatically. Your nervous system syncs with theirs. And when their stated calm doesn't match their actual physiological state, your gut fires. Not metaphorically. Literally, the vagus nerve runs from your brainstem through your gut. It is a two-way channel. Their nervous system dysregulation travels through the room and your body registers it before your brain processes a single word. You've been in a room with someone and felt a physical unease you couldn't explain. Not fear, not discomfort, something closer to a quiet alarm. You looked around for a reason. You found none. You let it go. You shouldn't have. You now know exactly what your body was. But here's the question nobody asks. How many times have you been the one in that conversation? Not a liar, not calculated, but in that half second before you composed your face, before you found the right words, before you decided how to frame it, what was in your body. You know the answer. Everyone does. And nobody talks about it. That doesn't make you a manipulator, but it means the signals you've learned to read, you've also sent. Without knowing, without meaning to. Sit with that. Now you know this, use it today. Next time you feel that quiet alarm in a conversation, don't talk yourself out of it. Don't reach for proof. Just observe. Track the rhythm. Watch the cluster. Feel what your body registers. And if you want to go deeper, the next video covers how people use your social conditioning against you to make you distrust your own perception. It's already up.